All right, folks. The time is approximately 6 p.m. and the May 21st Farragut Municipal Planning Commission will now begin. Good evening to those of you in attendance and online. Thank all of you for attending tonight's Farragut Municipal Planning Commission meeting. My name is Ron Pinchak, and I am the chairman that will be conducting tonight's Planning Commission meeting. We appreciate that each of you has taken the time from your schedules to either attend or view tonight's meetings to observe how town government works. All Farragut Municipal Planning Commission meetings are public notice per Tennessee State Law, TCA 8-44-103. All Planning Commission meetings are streaming on the Farragut YouTube channel, and links to the recordings may be found on the Town of Farragut website. Those in attendance should be able to pick up a copy of the agenda at the door. If you are not able to attend in person and are viewing from home, you will be able to see the agenda posted on the Town of Farragut's website. For any persons in attendance who would like to address this commission concerning an item on tonight's agenda, please pick up a blue card at the door, write your name, address, and agenda number that you wish to comment on, and give it to Mark Shipley down here to my left. There will also be time reserved at the end of the business meeting for residents' comments on non-agenda subjects, which also requires that you fill out a blue comment card and again include your name, address, and topic of your comments. On each agenda item, the chairman will ask the town staff for Farragut residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the Planning Commission on that specific agenda item may do so for up to 3 minutes. After being recognized by the chairman, please proceed to the podium, microphone, turn it on, and in order to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting progressing along, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing members of the town staff and/or members of the Planning Commission. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address your questions to the chairman. If necessary, the chairman may call on a commissioner or staff member to address your questions or comments. Once you have given your input, please return to your seat. We ask that persons speaking avoid the use of improper language and profanity. Please only address the agenda issues. Speakers should strive to present original viewpoints and avoid redundancy. We ask that you also stay on topic of that specific agenda item. And everyone, please remember we are here tonight doing the people's business, and it's a very important responsibility for all of us. Now, I ask that if you are able, please stand for a moment of silence for prayer and reflection to be followed by the recital of the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mark, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Green.
Here.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Here.
Chairman Pinchak.
Here.
Commissioner Wright. Here. Commissioner Povlin.
Here.
All right, we have 5 members present. Therefore, we have a quorum for tonight's proceedings. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
No, sir.
Move to approve. Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Let the record show that the motion passed unanimously. Approval of the minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes from the April meeting?
No, sir.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions about the minutes from the commissioners? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes. Anybody opposed, say no. Again, motion passes unanimously. Tonight, we have 5 action items and 1 discussion item. We'll start with our first action item. Action item 4A, it's a request for approval of design plans for the Red Mill Dam parking lot, access trail, and trailhead.
The Red Mill Dam is located in the parcel of land at the corner of Concord, Turkey Creek, and was acquired by the town of Farragut. In an effort to showcase this beautiful piece of property, the town's been researching different options for access to the dam area. The project consists of a 10-stall parking lot, pathway leading to a trailhead, and sitting area adjacent to Red Mill Dam. Staff advertised an RFQ in December and selected LDA Engineering to conduct the engineering design and bid selection process for the project. Access to the paved parking area will be shared through driveway owned by First Utility District. And we've shared plans and are in the approval process to utilize that driveway from First Utility District for our access. And we have Lincoln Fugel with LDA Engineering to do a presentation on the plans.
Hello and good evening.
Give us your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Lincoln Fugel with LDA Engineering. I reside in Maryville, just on the other side of the lake, 1001 Hostetler Road.
Thank you.
So the plans that you can see that are included in your packet, this is to take advantage of a beautiful piece of woods that are right down there next to Turkey Creek. As far as to get access down there, there is an existing drive, belongs to the utility. We entered into a shared agreement, as was stated. We're going to pave their drive in exchange for the use of the access there. All of the parking stalls will be on the separate lot, but the access road itself belongs to the utility. The very end of that drive, you can see it's a separate square. That will be left gravel. The rest of it will be asphalt. All the way down the trail will be asphalt except for the very end, where we will put a concrete circle, and that's so that we can bolt in some benches. We got 4 benches that'll be going in back there, and that'll make it so that we can put them anywhere that makes sense. The views from there are really, really nice. The dam is just a little bit upstream of there. This is going to be just on the downhill side, so you'll be able to see where the water comes over the dam in 2 or 3 different places. As far as the grades, you can see in our profiles there, we really aren't having to change the grade very much. I think the steepest grade out there is like 6.5%, so all of it's within ADA compliance. One of the stated goals of this plan was to keep it simple, and you can see with the cut fill, it's a pretty simple plan. There's no requirement for culverts. We're able to utilize the existing drainage. There aren't going to be a whole lot of changes to the layout. Minimal impact to trees. To kind of preserve the whole point is to enjoy the woods down there. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
I'm going to make a motion first. Move to approve the design plans for the Red Mill Dam parking lot, access trail, and trailhead.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Are there any citizens signed up?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody have any questions or comments? I have one. The trail was made out of what now? It's not going to be it's not going to be asphalt or paved. It's going to be.
He said asphalt.
It is
Oh, it is gonna
asphalt.
be
The
asphalt.
trail
I
will
missed
be
that.
asphalt.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
All right. I don't have any other questions. All right. If we have a motion and a second, so all in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
We're excited.
Who seconded that?
You good, Mark? Okay. All right, next item is item 4B. It's a discussion of public hearing on a revision to the final plat for the Stone Mead subdivision, parcels 070 and 072, tax map 142 off Boring Road, 33 lots, zoned R3, Lynch Surveys LLC applicant.
Yeah, this was a plat that was conditionally approved last month by the board and the commission. And when they started getting into looking at the house footprints, there were some of them that didn't fit the lots. And so they had to go back and revisit some of the lot layouts and add more square footage to a number of the lots. And that resulted in a reduction in the number of overall house lots. They're losing 2 house lots. And they're also losing about 11,000 square feet of open space, but they still meet the minimum 10% open space required in the R3 zoning district. That is exclusive of buffer strips and stormwater detention. So if, on the screen is the original plat that was presented last month. And so some of the open space here along Boring Road has gotten a little less, and then this center area is a little less open space, and then a couple of reductions in some of these. And if you look at what they're proposing, you can see that center area is a little smaller. They had to increase the lot sizes in order to meet the lot coverage requirements in R3. I think they were laying it out with the mindset of the open space residential, because this applicant deals with that almost all the time, so it was an oversight. And so anyway, this does meet the requirements in our subdivision regulations from the staff's perspective, and we are recommending approval of this final plat amendment, subject to the 5 conditions that were in the packet. Does anybody have any questions? I'll try to answer those.
Do we have any citizens signed up?
No, sir.
Okay, need a motion?
Move to approve with the subject twos.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No citizens, so
What's the timeline on this
I
project?
think we'll,
Thomas Krajewski, 122 Perimeter Park Drive. Work with the applicant Homestead Land Holdings. And the project is completed, so all of the site work is completed. This is a final plat. So this is just a revision of the final plat that we just got approved. So we're fine with the subject twos, the conditions of this approval, and happy to answer any other questions.
Yeah, I have a question. How did you settle on who's maintaining the property along the back there by that wall?
So the wall, there's still common area behind the wall in between Boring Road and the wall. So there is still common area there, and that's maintained by the HOA. As far as the wall itself, it will be maintained by the HOA, and that'll be covered in the declaration of the covenants and restrictions for the property. So that's something that Mr. Shipley and I have been working on with the town attorney to make sure that we have the proper verbiage there.
So even though a little bit of that property belongs to the property owner, the HOA is still going to maintain it behind the wall, is that what you're saying?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And the plat shows an 11-foot wall easement, if I'm not mistaken, for proper maintenance.
any other questions, comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Anybody opposed, say no. Again, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you,
Unanimously. Thank you. Good
Appreciate
luck to you. All right, moving on to item 4C. Discussion and public hearing on amendment to a portion of the concept plan associated with the northwest portion of the Bridgemore subdivision for what would be phases 3B and 4, zone R-1/OSR, Placemakers Number 2 Partnership Applicant.
So this is a request to amend the concept plan that was originally approved in 2004 when Bridgemore was rezoned to open space residential. That original concept plan has a variety of lot sizes in Bridgemore. And one of the particularly unique parts of the concept plan was in the northwest part, the upper left here, part of the overall subdivision where they had some gridded streets, alley-loaded, kind of almost, just a new urbanist kind of layout concept in that part of the subdivision. But as they worked their way back to that area and started doing more detailed analysis of the grade work needed for this, it's kind of more of a product for a flatter piece of property. And it was, to do this, it was going to require a lot of grading and a lot of retaining walls. So they had originally came to the Planning Commission at the June meeting in 2021 to request an amendment to the concept plan. basically go to what they're showing in the preliminary plat that's the next agenda item for this part of Bridgemore. More of a traditional layout of lots, although they are smaller lot sizes in this portion of Bridgemore than some of the other portions of that subdivision. So one of the things with this revision is that it would require a variance to the cul-de-sac length requirement in our subdivision regulations. So in addition to the taking action on the amendment to the concept plan, the Planning Commission would also need to take action on the variance for the cul-de-sac length for the road. This is Road G. It actually starts here and it goes down in this location. So if you look at the previous layout, it was all gridded streets, which is normally what we would like to see. And they still have some of that, but there's a couple areas where the cul-de-sac was just the most efficient way to do it. And actually, this layout preserves a net of 5 acres of open space more than what was on the original concept plan. So in terms of the overall lots, the existing concept plan and the overall Bridgemore subdivision has 374 lots. This proposed concept plan would have 346 lots. So they have fewer lots and more open space. So again, this is something that is ultimately up to the Planning Commission, but you would need to take action on this concept plan amendment and the variance request related to this. The staff is recommending approval of both of these items. In terms of the variance, the reason for the recommendation is topography and frankly, a layout that would work better with the lay of the land in this portion of Bridgemore, and that would create 5 acres more of open space with this particular layout. So if anyone has any questions about any of this, I'm happy to try to answer those.
We need a motion for the amendment to the concept plan first.
I think we need to do do we need to do the variance first, Mark?
You would need to do the concept plan first because the road
Okay.
is part of the concept plan.
Got it.
And then
Thank
do
you
the variance.
for the clarity. I'm sorry. I'll move to approve the amended concept plan.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody signed up talking about this?
No, sir.
Do we have a representative here?
Does that work? Oh, great. Sorry. Carter McCall, 2160 Lakeside Center Way, 37922, Knoxville, Tennessee. And I'm here to represent the project and happy to answer any questions.
Do you have anything you want to add after what Marcus said?
I do not.
Okay. Any questions? John?
I guess one of our concerns has been that temporary road. Is that a part of this discussion or the next item?
That'll be the next one.
Okay.
No questions, no comments? All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion to amendment to the concept plan, say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Okay, that motion passes. We now need a second motion.
I'll do a motion. I move to approve a variance from the cul-de-sac length for Road G due to reasons cited by staff.
Okay, anything you want to add to what Marcus already said about the road?
I don't.
Okay. Any questions? Oh, anybody signed up to speak on this?
No, sir.
All right. Any other comments or questions from commissioners? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion for the variance associated with the length of Road G, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Again, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Next item, item 4D. Discussion and public hearing on a preliminary plat for the Bridgemore subdivision, phases 3B and 4, parcel 025.03, tax map 152, 70.28 acres, 102 lots, zoned R-1/OSR, Ardora Group Incorporated applicant.
So I'm going to put the concept plan back on the screen because it can show these phases better. The shaded areas are the phases 3B and 4, mostly in the northwest part of Bridgemore. Obviously, these are just related to the previous item. This preliminary plat was brought to the Planning Commission in October of 2021. They made some changes to address some issues with sinkholes. They had some geotechnical analyses that were conducted. I think they lost maybe 6 lots due to sinkholes. And then they submitted a revision at the December 2022 meeting, but no action was taken on the preliminary plat at that time. They requested postponement because there was a disagreement on the letter of credit that would be recommended for the public road connection from Bridgemore to Allen Kirby Road, and then the improvements to Allen Kirby Road that are required based on the concept plan that was approved for this subdivision when it was rezoned in 2004. The two items that we talked about when this was previously presented were the sinkholes and then the completion of the public street and the improvements to Allen Kirby Road. And those are still relevant at this time. I would say as far as the sinkhole matter goes, the only activity that they're now proposing that's within the actual sinkhole lip elevation is where the shared use path would, let me see if I can show it better. Yeah. So this is the far northwest portion of Bridgemore. So the Montgomery Trail on Tucker Montgomery's property comes in and it terminates roughly there. So they would tie into that and then come through this part of Bridgemore in the far westernmost. And this is kind of a big depression in here. So the trail system would go through there, which there are provisions in the sinkhole ordinance to allow for that, where it's a critical connection, which from the staff's perspective, this is a critical connection because it ultimately gets that trail all the way down to Allen Kirby Road and then over to McPhee. And then they have some stormwater discharge that has been authorized by TDEC also in this area. So in terms of the sinkhole, one of the subject twos is just to provide documentation or updated information to demonstrate that what they're doing in this part of the subdivision in the sinkhole lip elevation is compliant with section 107-68 of the sinkhole ordinance. And that talks about the parameters that allow you to do things within the sinkhole lip elevation. The other thing that, and probably the bigger issue at this point, at least with these phases, is the matter of the public street and getting a connection, again, back to Allen Kirby Road. Again, going back to the original concept plan. So the shaded areas are phases 3B and 4. But this street section here, which would be in the last phase, phase 5, is something that the staff is recommending either needs to be studied and approved by the Planning Commission and added to this particular scope of work, or a letter of credit be posted to ensure that this public street is completed along with the improvements that would be on the north side of Allen Kirby Road. The existing asphalt on Allen Kirby Road would be unchanged on the south side. Everything is going to the north, and there's right-of-way that's been platted in previous phases of Bridgemore for Allen Kirby Road improvements. So one of the things that is of concern, there's 102 lots in these phases, 3B and 4, But there probably would only be about 40 to 45 left in Phase 5. So since this development is getting further and further away from its only access at McPhee Road, and the fire marshal has actually relied on compliance with the concept plan, understanding that there will ultimately someday be a connection to Allen Kirby Road to allow the houses to not be sprinklered in this subdivision, because otherwise they all would have had to have been sprinklered. So those are some of the things that, from the staff's perspective, this public street connection and the improvements to Allen Kirby Road need to be tied to these phases. Whether they go ahead and design it and build it all at once, build it out, or, post a letter of credit to cover the public street that's shown in Phase 5 and the improvements to Allen Kirby Road. That's really up to the Planning Commission. The staff would say that the letter of credit, the town engineer would need to be, look at their estimates and come up with a dollar amount to cover all of this. And then also, the staff would recommend that in the letter of credit language that there be some timeline established for when these remaining public street sections and improvements to Allen Kirby Road would be completed. Our recommendation that was in the packet is that would be 3 years after the grading permits issued for phases 3B and 4. Because again, this has been going on since 2004, and it is something that we feel is fairly urgent at this stage, as there's several hundred houses there that we're looking at, and only one access point at this time. And we've worked with the applicant in the past to not require this improvement until they got further west into the subdivision, and we feel that they're at that point now to where that needs to be taken care of. So the subject twos for this particular item, there were 9 of those. Of course, the road that we just talked about, either designing it and building it now or posting the letter of credit with some kind of time frame established, and that language would need to be looked at by the town attorney. The drainage permit fee is the second item. Erosion control letter of credit, notice of coverage from TDEC. Some comments about the silt fence. There's a couple of lots that they're probably buildable, but they had some hypothetical building envelopes on the lots, and it's this one here and this one here. And you can see the 50-foot building setback line comes into these lots, pretty substantially. And basically within that 50-foot area, you can't put any structure with a roof over it. So your house couldn't be in that part of the lot. They probably could move the building envelope to be out of the 50-foot. It looks like they have enough space for that, but there was kind of a conflict with what was shown on the building envelopes on some of the sheets, because we would not want to create lots that are going to require a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals. That would not be something that the Planning Commission should do. So that's just something they either need to modify their building envelopes or modify the lot so that there's enough buildable area to have a house outside of the 50-foot setback. So that's what number 6 is about. More information on the 20-foot temporary fire apparatus road. There's an old driveway that comes in off of Allen Kirby Road, and it's temporarily going to be a 20-foot fire apparatus road. And that eventually it'll become a walking trail that ties the subdivision down to Allen Kirby Road. So just having a design on that. There was a comment about a storm sewer head wall to move it back a little bit, and then the comment about limits of disturbance within the sinkhole lip elevation and just demonstrating compliance with the Section 107-68 of the sinkhole ordinance. So with those conditions, the staff is recommending approval of this preliminary plat.
I'm going to move to approve with the 9 subject twos.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any citizens signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, do we have a representative here?
Carter McCall, 2160 Lakeside Center Way, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37922.
Before we open up for questions or comments, you have anything else you want to add to that, what Marcus said?
Yeah, just a couple things I guess I will address is that I think the owner would prefer the letter of credit option regarding the, public road, connection and improvements, because the design and construction of Phase 5 is just not really where they are in the project yet. And, they have not engaged anyone to, look at that at this point. They're trying to move forward with these 2 phases and then, start looking at the final phase. And so regarding so tied to that would be kind of the temporary access, and Jay Willis and I, who's the owner's representative, we met back in 2021 while we were going through the planning commission process. Back then, we met and walked that temporary road layout with the fire marshal, reviewed that in the field with him to make sure that, he was okay with it. There will be some, as Mark mentioned, there will be some modifications necessary to bring it up to fire code standards, which the owner's willing to do and work with them on that.
There is in that language for subject item number 1, a time frame of, I think, 3 years. Are you okay with that?
That would be an owner question.
Something you'll need to work out with Mark and engineering.
Well, I mean, it's a subject too, you probably need to, well, yeah, I mean, that's from after the grading permits issued for phases 3B and 4, then 3 years starts then.
Okay, so it's after.
I mean, that's just, well, there's nothing magical about the 3 years. There needs to be some termination of
Sense of
this because.
urgency, yes.
Yeah, whether it's 3 years or
Because it's fire code and we're
fire
trying
code
to.
and it's more lots and it's
Yep.
further away from the main access.
I'm fine with leaving the motion as is, and with the 3 years of the issuance of a grading permit for phases 3B and 4, because we don't really have anything else to work off. So that's, I think we should leave it there now. It's not like we can't come back and address that again at some point. But this at least lights a fire of the sense of urgency of let's get this moving.
I agree with that. Okay. Any other questions about the other subject twos?
And then one thing I also wanted to point out regarding the sinkhole disturbance that Mark mentioned as far as the stormwater discharge and whatnot. So in addition to we obtained a permit from TDEC for that discharge into the sinkhole. Also back in 2021 when we were going through this process initially, and that stormwater retention within that sinkhole area was also a part of the original stormwater master plan for the subdivision when it was approved back in 2005 or whenever it was originally designed and permitted. So, but we've removed all of initially there was areas of fill within several of the sinkholes across the site, and we have removed that during this review process. So,
Okay.
I have one more question on that temporary access road. Am I correct in assuming that you folks will probably use that during construction as your construction entrance as well?
that would be the intent, is to use that to move construction traffic as well.
So you're not going through the residential area?
Exactly.
All big trucks. Okay, so the fact that you need it as much as the fire marshal needs it is encouraging to me, because that way, if you can get your big trucks and stuff through there, I guess we probably can get a fire vehicle through there. Thank you.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 4E. Discussion of public hearing on a resolution PC-26-06, a resolution for Planning Commission recommendations on ordinance 26-10, an ordinance to amend the Farragut Code of Ordinances, Appendix A-zoning, Chapter 3, specific district regulations to replace Section 5, rural single-family acreage residential district, RISA, with a rural large lot estate district, RLE.
Yeah, this item was discussed last month at a workshop. And as I noted, this would replace the R1SA district, which there are no properties now zoned R1SA. It used to be part of Bel Air was, but that was rezoned to R1 a few years ago. So this particular district is pretty simple. It's really just residential and agricultural. One of the things that came up as a comment last month was trying to build some language in the ordinance that would promote preserving natural areas, because it is a large lot, kind of estate-type zoning district intended to have a lot of natural open space. So the staff did add some language in ordinance 2610 in Section F, dealing with the development regulations, to try to address that to where you would qualify for these reductions, potential reductions in subdivision-related requirements if you could, for the things that are identified, if you could demonstrate that you're taking clearly with your layout, you're working with the topography. In other words, your streets are on contour. If there's nice wooded areas, you're trying to demonstrate that you're working around those and working with the natural characteristics of the property. So that language is built into the ordinance now to add a little further emphasis on one of the intents of this zoning district. So I don't know if anybody had any question about that or anything else in the zone. I think everything else was pretty straightforward from the workshop discussion. I do have one citizen that has signed up to speak on this, but if y'all have any questions of me, I can try to answer those for you.
Mark, I just want to make sure I understand. Item C5, I think we added to A per lot and to B per lot. That was not in the original.
I did that in light of what happened in Stonemead.
Okay.
I wanted to make crystal clear.
All right,
Yeah,
just want to make sure.
so yeah, I did that intentionally.
All right, just want to make sure everybody was
That
aware
would
of
be
that.
fine.
All right, so we need a motion?
Do we want to hear from Pug first, or have a motion?
No motion first.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Public?
Have Diane Hall.
Hi, Diane Hall, 668 Brochart Boulevard. What is rural character? This ordinance talks about preserving rural character, but it never actually defines what rural character means. Without clear standards, that phrase can become subjective and inconsistent over time, depending on who is serving on the Planning Commission. If we're going to create a rural large lot estate district, then the ordinance should contain real protections that preserve the natural appearance and environmental qualities people associate with rural Farragut. Otherwise, we risk creating low-density subdivisions that technically meet lot size requirements while still losing the natural beauty, tree canopy, and rural feel that residents are trying to preserve. And actually, that's okay, but let's just call it large lot estate and remove the term rural. Thank you.
Anybody else, Mark?
No, sir.
Okay, open it up for comments or questions.
I just, because I know Diane has a concern about rural has many different definitions depending upon the person you ask. And this community tends to get together when, especially when the rezonings happen, and show up and put their 3 cents in. Trying to fix a definition to something that is, can vary depending upon where you are. I think about some of our larger lots that could still, we have a horse farm over by Everett Road. We have a lot of agricultural. We have big R1. They already have R1 over on Evans Road, and they all have different flavors to them. And it's just the large open space that tends to make it feel rural. Across the street on Evans Road, I think they're subdivided into 5-acre lots, but the houses that are closer to the road. You still have that large feel of, that just lends itself to a rural feeling. So I don't know that we can define it, because then it starts getting slippery. The harder you're trying to hold on to it, the more it's like holding on to sand. It just kind of runs through your fingers. And so I have to have faith that as we go through this, if these rezonings come up, that the planning commission and the community is working together on these rezonings on an individual basis to make sure that what we're trying to do is being achieved. So that's what I have.
I would say just the fact that you've got a minimum 2-acre lot size is going to give it a more rural, I guess, feel. We could take the word rural out. We could just call it large lot estate district for all I'm concerned, but I think just the physical requirements of the lot is going to promote more open space just because it's much larger than most other than agricultural zone. You're going to have a lot of natural open space because you got a very low coverage allowance, 15% and 25%. That's real low. So that means you're going to have at least 75% of the lot is going to be vegetative cover of some kind. And that's a pretty high percentage.
John, did you have something you want to say?
I was kind of thinking the same thing that Mark was. The word rural isn't really defining it. The fact that it's a large lot makes it rural by nature because it doesn't have a lot on it. It's not congested. So I think it's okay the way it is. I don't have a problem with it.
Just also thinking about the distance from, whether it be a town center or some area, would make it large or rural, and not necessarily 2-acre. I mean, I suppose you could have a small lot, half an acre or 1 acre, and be considered rural if you're a certain mileage away from congestion or a town center.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
really thinking through, pinning that down to the definition, perhaps a mileage away should be part of that.
Well, if you're just looking at our zoning map and the larger areas that could subdivide that, well, you could, I mean, the R1, the R2 that's over here by the Eddie Ford property is you could get rural feeling really fast.
Real fast or not.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to add a location for it. I understand the concern but I think that this community has wrestled through things before, and we really do work to try to keep the character, maintain the character to the best of our ability.
Okay. If there's no further discussion or comments, time for a vote. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. All right. Next item is a discussion item. If you need to leave. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to a discussion item, item 5A. Discussion on a request to amend the Farragut zoning map for a portion of the property located at H17 Virtue Road from S1, Community Service and Agricultural A to R1, Rural Single Family Residential, 8.55 acres, Benchmark Associates Incorporated, applicant.
Yeah, so this property is, is bisected by Virtue Road, and a fair amount of the property's underwater. It's currently in 3 different zoning districts. The north part, as you can see on the screen, is S1, Community Service, which is the same zone as the church, which is just to the north of that. I'm not sure why this portion of the parcel was ever zoned S1. I don't know the history of that. The part that's on the east side of Virtue Road that's mostly underwater, although there is some land there for docks, is zoned agricultural. And then there's a section of the parcel that is on the south that's zoned R1, which is what the applicant is requesting to rezone. Oh, sorry. To rezone the, there you go. So that shows it a little bit better. This part here on the south, this little L-shaped is already zoned R1, but they're wanting to rezone the whole parcel to R1. It is consistent, R1 is consistent with the future land use map. It's open space cluster residential, which is the same density as R1. So it is consistent with that. This, if it's rezoned, would support the ability to subdivide the property into 3 lots. That's ultimately what they would like to do. We walked the property last week. It's, other than the overhead utility lines that kind of run through there that kind of just mess with your views, it's a really nice piece of property. It's plenty of room to have the three lots. So that's kind of the intent ultimately of the rezoning. From a staff's perspective, the rezoning, it makes sense. R1 is already to the south of this parcel, and part of this parcel is already R1. Again, it is consistent with the future land use map. If anybody has any questions, we are going to coordinate if they ultimately do re-subdivide. The applicant, Benny Mormon, and the staff and the designers for the Virtue Road improvements have all met together, and we've shared plans. So we're going to coordinate with our design team on, the access for these lots. We'll have to have a joint access for at least 2 of them. And then the boardwalk and the crossing of Virtue Road to the asphalt trail. Just trying to make sure that we are thinking ahead and coordinating with the property owner and the town so that there's not conflicts that occur in the future. So, again, this is just discussion items. If y'all have any questions, I know the applicant's here. If you have any questions of him. But that's kind of an overview of what this is about.
Is anybody signed up?
No, sir.
Okay, so we have no residents. Applicant want to come up and, anything you want to add before we discuss it?
Once again, Benny Mormon, 10308 Hardin Valley Road. I have nothing to add. Mark did a great presentation. You see our plans for dividing the property, and we fully intend to work with the town on this project.
So I have a few, well, and I know that you guys have talked about it, but I just want to bring it to the attention of the rest of the planning commission. That one lot that's up there, down at the bottom.
The square parcel in the
Yes.
south
So
corner.
They have that easement to have access, and I know you're aware of that.
And it's across that long rectangular tract.
Yep.
Matter of fact, the instrument of record for the square tract that is a fee simple parcel is recorded in deed book 1644-373, The immediate document after that is the access easement, and it crosses that rectangular portion.
You guys are aware of that. I just want to make sure that we stay on top of that, because the last thing we need to do is give them no place to get to their
Yes,
piece of
ma'am, I
property.
agree. We actually had hoped to purchase that property, or my client had.
Yeah.
But getting connected with those people has been very difficult.
Which would make everything easy. The whole rest of this, I don't understand why half a parcel is S1, and it doesn't quite make sense to me how that came about. So, and getting across the street, R1. The other thing that I know you guys are talking about, making sure as Virtue Road is going to be improved and we have the boardwalk, it's also for the property owners to have access to their property across from it. I imagine that's part of what the discussions are, is making sure that when we do this boardwalk, that they still have a point of access. But I like this. It cleans it up and gives us 3 nice viable options for a rural type feel in that area. So, yeah, I don't have any issues with this.
Anybody else? I like the idea myself, so there's no vote, no motion. It's just, you got enough information, Mark? Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'll have it on for an ordinance next month for formal recommendation to the board, so, yeah.
What will be the date of that meeting, do you know?
I think it's June 18th.
Third Thursday.
It's the third Thursday.
Okay.
Yes, June 18th.
Okay,
And then it goes to 2 readings at the.
2 readings at the board, yeah.
All righty. I may not be able to attend that meeting, but I will have a staff member that's very knowledgeable here, just so if you see a different face, you know what's happening. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Next item is item 6, approval of utilities. Anything?
We don't have any for this month.
Okay. And then the next item is item 7, citizens forum. Anybody signed up for anything not on the agenda?
No, sir.
All right, that being the case, the time